Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing good. So today I want to talk a little bit about starting your own business and what that actually is like, or actually more so how to start a business that you really love, and then managing your mindset around that business and how to do that. So this is really meant for all those entrepreneurs who have not started the business yet, but are wanting to, or are just starting out and trying to figure out how to get there and how to stay focused and how to stay positive. This video is really for you. So anyways, I know very, very personally that starting a business can feel extremely overwhelming and really scary, and trust me, I know. I'm personally going through it. I've gone through it. It doesn't really go away. I mean, it does once you get really comfortable with what you're doing. But if you're always growing and learning, you're always going to have a little bit of that fear. And so in a weird way, having that fear is a good thing because it means that you're always growing and you're always changing and you're always improving. And that's an important thing to have in your life on a continuous basis. But really, especially when you're starting out or just starting the business and trying to figure that out, you don't know where to start. You don't know if you're good enough. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to do it. You don't even know what kind of business you want to start. Sometimes I see that happen a lot with people trying to figure out what their niche is or figure out how to focus on a specific product, but they don't have that product yet. So it can be really scary and really overwhelming. I get it. Like, I've gone through it over and over again. It's been a interesting road going through the process of starting my own business and getting focused and clear and figuring out exactly what I'm doing. But once I finally got there, it felt amazing. It's still terrifying. I'm still learning as I go, but it felt amazing to actually finally take those steps and kind of move forward and figure out exactly what I'm doing. So anyways, one of the things that's really helped me get through this process and get to where I am today is managing my mindset and really understanding that. And so, you can think about the biggest part of business. People always think it's about money. It's about revenue and, revenue versus expenses, making sure that you have net revenue versus gross revenue. And, they think about it as being, you have to have the brains. You have to be like this genius business person to start and run and own a business. You think about Mark Zuckerberg or something, these incredible people that have started these massive businesses. Or you even think about it has to be the products. Like, I didn't invent the Apple computer, or I didn't invent cars, or whatever. Everyone always thinks it has to be this massive, incredible product to sell business. And the reality is business actually has, I don't want to say nothing to do with those, but it can have very little to actually do with that. Running a really good business is really about two things. It's about clarity and direction, and it's about mindset. And clarity and direction really is part of mindset. And so managing your mindset, saying, I can do this. I'm going to own my spot at the table. I'm going to own the head spot at the table. I am going to build my own table if I need to and invite people to it. And it's saying, like, I'm going to do this no matter what. I've drawn the line in the sand. This is happening. This is what I'm going to do, and nobody's going to stop me. That's really what you need to be a great business owner, keeping in mind that you're still kind to people and nice to people and treating people well. But it's really about that mindset of, I can do this. Like, I'm going to make this happen. It may take longer than I would like it to because I have to learn along the way, but I'm going to make it happen. I am determined. So if you can get to yourself to that point, that positive mindset of like, I'm going to make this happen no matter what, then other things will come to you. The product or service idea will come to you. The brains, you're going to learn along the way, and you're already smart enough as it is. And anything else you need to know, you can freaking Google. And then the money comes. Once you figure out your product and service, it'll come. Test it out. Try different things. See if, say if you want to do a service-based thing, do a trial run with people. Offer it for, $100 or whatever, and see if people will pay for it before you create it. Monetize it before you make it is what one of my mentors always says. The money comes. The money is something that we really look at the wrong way as a society. We as society look at money as fleeting, something that's really, there's only a finite amount of it. And the reality is that's not true. There is an abundant amount of money, and you can get it if you want it. You just have to go after it. And so you've got to have that mindset of, release the fear of spending money and use that money as a tool to get to where you want to be. So again, that goes back to mindset. It's changing your mindset, changing your view on what money is. And, managing that mindset goes on every day. It's an ongoing process that you have to really, really work on. And, it's something that you can do through a bunch of different ways. You can think about doing mantras or, daily affirmations. That sort of works for me. It sort of doesn't. But if it works for you, fantastic. For me, what I really try to do is whenever I start to feel down or unsure or scared or, have a negative thought, I try to do two things. One is either I just tell myself this is dumb and get over it and I can work through it and I keep moving on. Or two, I go on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook and I watch one of those motivational videos from one of my mentors that says, look, I came from nothing, but I did XYZ and I've created this massive business where I make millions now. And I'm like, you know what? If they can do it, I sure as hell can do it too. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So it's really about trying to stay focused and motivated, keeping that mindset positive. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes. So I kind of already touched this, but one of the things I had written down is when you can get your mind focused enough, you can make anything happen. And that really is the truth, because finding that clarity is so key. And I will tell you from personal experience and from working with other people, finding clarity does not come easy, especially if you are kind of a commitment phobe, kind of like me. You don't want to get trapped into something that you may not be happy with. You don't want to be stuck somewhere you don't want to be. So finding that clarity and really managing that can be a difficult thing. But I promise you, the more you work on getting clear and focused on what it is you want, the easier it'll become to attain it. So giving you an example, figuring out who your target market is for your business. Once you have a really, really clear idea of who your target market is, you are able to get really focused and you are able to create content that matches that kind of person perfectly. You're able to become much more polished and you can publish information that is ideal for that target market. But until you know who that target market is, you are not going to be able to do that as well. And so working on that clarity, working on that, getting really focused on your specific areas in your business or even in your own life can be really, really helpful. Because of that, that's one reason why I really teach people to design their life, design themselves, and design their business. And I do that through about a 14-step program. It's kind of cool. So the first thing we do is a design yourself worksheet. So you look at a bunch of questions or you answer a bunch of questions relating to designing yourself. You then answer some questions about designing your ideal lifestyle. And then from there, you answer a bunch of questions about designing your ideal business. And the reason we do business last is because your business should fit within your ideal lifestyle and your ideal self, not the other way around. So an example would be, it's really, really important to me to have flexibility with my time. I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to be able to pick my daughter up from school if I choose to. I want to if I want to just stop in the middle of the day and go eat lunch with one of my friends, I want the ability to do that. So I don't want a business that's going to require me to be in an office building from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or even worse, working 50 or 60 hours a week. My values, my personal ideal values, are to have much more flexibility so I can come and go as I please. That doesn't mean I don't want to work. It just means I want to work when I feel like working, when it's my time to work, when my body says, yep, let's go do this. If my body's saying, nope, I need to go sit at the freaking spa for a day, that's what I want to do. And I want to have the flexibility to do that. And so I want you guys to be able to design yourself first, because you have to know yourself before you know what kind of lifestyle you want to live. From there, you need to design your lifestyle, because you need to know what kind of lifestyle you're going to have in order to build the dream business you want to have. And then you can build your business around yourself and your lifestyle. After that, I have you guys walk through 3 more steps where you do an assessment of where you're currently at for self, lifestyle, and business. And so this is the opposite. This is of what we were doing before. This is looking at where you're currently at. Are you currently happy with who you are? Are you currently happy with what your lifestyle looks like? Are you currently happy with your business or career or lack thereof a business? So we look at those kind of questions and we walk you through the process, and we see where the kind of missing gaps are. If your ideal self is not where your current self is, how do we connect those? What are the steps we need to take to get those two to the same exact spot? After that, we look at big picture. And so we start to do, once we've kind of figured out where those shortcomings are, we look at really setting up your mindset in order to, get those two to connect together, what you have to do in order to hit that. We look at understanding the difference between beliefs and truths, and knowing that they're very different things. They are very different. So beliefs are something that you're telling yourself that's holding you back, and truths are cold, hard facts. And most of the time, and I will say most of the time, we believe the beliefs and not the truths. And that's a huge issue. That holds us back more than I think anybody really understands. And so we start to work through a process that clears out those beliefs, and we start to remove those beliefs and implement facts. So fact-based things to actually look at. So the next thing after we work on the mindset and understanding beliefs versus truths, we also talk a little about health and getting healthy, and why eating healthy and exercise really helps just in general, because it makes your body feel better, and it makes you a little bit more motivated. It helps you get clear-headed, and it helps you get focused, and gives you more energy to get stuff done. So we talk about that a little bit. It's not the biggest focus, but it is part of the whole process. From there, we look at steps 8, 9, and 10, and those are actually goal setting. So goal setting for yourself, goal setting for your lifestyle, and then goal setting for your business or your career. We also work through something called fear setting. So now I can't take credit for fear setting, but what fear setting actually is something that Tim Ferriss, the famous author, came up with. And I really, really love it, because it walks you through basically no excuse for not reaching your goals. So when we go back and look at, designing ourselves versus assessing where we're currently at, you'll see those gaps. And wherever those gaps are, there needs to be goals in there in order to take you from where you're at to where you want to be. And so we chunk out those goals, and that's how we do the goal setting. And so we write those out onto a piece of paper, and then we walk through those goals of figuring out step by step what we need to do in order to achieve that specific goal. And then when we have fears about taking the steps needed to achieve that goal, that's when fear setting comes in. And fear setting, basically a really quick abbreviated explanation for it, is understanding what are the consequences if I do not hit this goal. What are the bad things that will happen if I do not take the steps to hit this goal? So an example would be quitting smoking. So if you are currently a smoker and you do not want to be a smoker, your goal is to quit smoking, right? So that's the goal. And so then we work through the steps of how to quit smoking Maybe you can do it cold turkey. I don't know. I hear a lot of people need to actually do it in steps. And so, if you need those steps to go from a smoker to a non-smoker, well, there's going to be some fear related around quitting smoking. It's an addiction you may have had for a really long time. It's something that, it's basically at this point rooted in your DNA. And so it's going to be something that's going to take a lot of work to get over, a lot of discipline and a lot of mindset control to get over. Well, using fear setting, what you do is you look at the consequences saying, if I do not reach the goal of quitting smoking, so if I do not take those steps, what are the bad things that will happen? So if you do not quit smoking, some of the bad things that will happen are heart disease, lung cancer. You could get the little voice box thing. I don't know what it's called, but they cut the hole in your neck and you use it to talk. You could get jaw cancer, gum cancer. All kinds of bad things could happen. You could die. That's the reality, is you could die. And so, looking at those kind of things for each and every goal you have. So if it's giving up sugar, what are the bad things that could happen if you continue to eat the sugar at the level you're eating it? If you continue to work at a job that you are unhappy at and it is unhealthy for you and you're stressed out and you have anxiety, what are the bad things? What are the consequences that will happen if you continue to work there and don't make the change to start a different career or start the dream business that you want to have, or make whatever leap it is to a better, healthier situation? And so once you start to do that fear setting and figuring out what the consequences are, you are going to be so much more likely to hit that goal, because those consequences will motivate you and will keep your mindset focused. So that's why it's so important to set the goal and then do the fear setting for each goal that you have fear about hitting. The other process, or the process number or step number 11, is actually taking those goals then, so when we've already done the step-by-step process, and calendaring those out. And so what that looks like is you want to set those goals ideally in a 90-day period or a 180-day period, so 3 months, 6 months, something that's very attainable. Now I get some of these jumps are going to take, or these goals are going to take much longer. And so you can look at, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but something that's still really, reasonable and that you can check back on constantly and make sure that you're hitting those steps. But you actually write out all of the goals and the steps, I should say, for the goals that you're going to accomplish in the calendar. You calendar the steps, and then you know what dates you have to do to hit each little step in order to get you closer and closer to the final product, the goal, achieving that goal. So it's a really, really great process. You can use something like this, like a little date book calendar. You can do it on a big, gigantic calendar. You can do it in Google calendars. Whatever works for you, just need to get those on the calendar, and then you need to look at those every single day so that you know what steps you have to take every day in order to get one step closer to your ultimate goal / eventually dream life. And this is something that you kind of revisit every year or so, because your visions and your ideal self, your ideal life, and your ideal business might change a little bit as you go, but at least it's helping you move forward each time or each day. And then for those who want to be business owners, from there I do steps 12, 13, and 14. And those steps really focus on learning the business, or learning what kind of business you want to have. Then it's all about building that business. So taking those initial steps to get the business off the ground and working through that process and being really focused on, step by step what you need to do. And then step 14 is for growing your business. So taking it from where it's at, from the infancy when you just started it, to growing it, making it larger. So maybe that's more revenue. Maybe that's hiring a team. Maybe that is expanding to a new location. Whatever it is, depending on what your business is, figuring out how to grow your business. So that's kind of this process. One thing that I am doing is actually starting a Dare to Design Facebook group. It's a private group where I walk everybody through this process. I'll give tips throughout the week, interact with people. You get to share other ideas or tools that have worked with you with other people in the group and vice versa. And I really just want it to be a really active environment where people can learn how to design their dream life, manage their mindsets, and really grow into the, the human beings that they have always wanted to be. So anyways, I really hope this has been helpful. I do have worksheets that I can share with you all to walk you through each and every step of this 14-step process. Obviously, step 12, 13, and 14, when you're actually learning, designing, or building and growing your business are more than just little worksheets, but I can walk you through those processes. But anyways, I really hope this has been helpful. Always reach out to me. Let me know how I can support you guys. I am here for you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.